Summer Games Fest happened. I reacted, of course, mainly to Street Fighter 6 Year 4 announcement. Now, obviously, I was going into Summer Games Fest with some modicum of hope that maybe we would get an announcement to a game that I really like, the DMC. But obviously, we didn't. I am still holding up hope for the Game Awards, though. Trust me, if you are like me, if you are a DMC fan, trust that DMC 1 remake will be revealed at the Game Awards. That's all I will say on DMC as of now, though. My main thing I wanted to see at Summer Games Fest this year was that Year 4 announcement. And if you couldn't tell by that little clip, my opinions weren't all that positive, especially in the moment. I mean, just listen to this. I am not gonna lie to you. I am way more disappointed than I thought I would be. And to be fair, though, if you did read the title, you know my opinion has changed a little bit. A lot of the main reasons that made me feel that way in that particular moment still stand. Mainly, the one I hate the most is honestly the design for these new characters. Now, Twitter, being Twitter, has had this. I have seen this argument ever since the reveal happened, where you have one side that just completely hates this new reveal, which was me, and you have another side that is like, oh my god, new characters, so cool. If you hate this, you're just a lame-o. It's the whole, like, that one meme of Twitter is just a guy saying I like pancakes and another guy replying, oh, so you hate waffles. It's the same thing with this. You say, oh, I don't like these new characters, and people are like, oh, so you just want Street Fighter 2. You just want Street Fighter 2 all the time. Like, shut the fuck up, you demented fucking baboon. The whole point is that, and again, I still stand by this, these new characters, Arjun, Bosch, and Yasmin, are frankly just not that interesting, especially at a first glance. The trailer, and when it comes to art and visuals, is good, but bro, you have already established we are not getting any more World Tour content, and then when you show us what is technically two new characters, you don't give any details on them. You just show what they look like, and that is it. Name and design. And that is not enough, especially when you have an audience as, there's no better way to say it than crybaby, as Street Fighter 6 players, and I include myself in that, where we complain about everything about this game, even if we continue to play it daily. You need to give us more. You need to tell us what these characters' reasons are for being in the story. Now, frankly, my first reaction was, Yasmin looks like some Filipino kid's Tumblr OC. Bosch is a loser. Bosch is just Bosch. I've never liked Bosch. And yes, I did play through World Tour. That is exactly why I've never liked Bosch. And Arjun looks funny. He honestly just looked funny. Like, when I first saw Arjun, and I know I'm not alone in this, I thought he was Ryu. I was like, what the fuck? But once I realized it's another character, to me, he elicits the same reaction I get from looking at somebody like Necro. And that's not derogative, because I do like Necro. But again, it's just that type of thing. As the days went by, my main, like, visceral reaction to the reveal got a bit lower. I wasn't as mad. I was still heavily disappointed, mind you, and I was not the only one. A lot of my friends also were hella disappointed. But, you know, I wanted to keep a slightly open mind. You know, we haven't seen gameplay, and if Street Fighter 6 has shown us something so far, is that they can make the most boring, lame-ass characters have the most interesting version of gameplay they've ever had. So, you know, I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt. And this whole, like, positivity side finally came to a head, I guess you can say, when the official Street Fighter account started posting small little bios for these characters, which I am going to read to you now. First up is Bosch. Departed his home nation of Neishao to pursue the true meaning of strength and eventually wins the Sacred Martial Arts Tournament. His travels brought him to Metro City, where he trained under Luke to incorporate modern combat methods into the ancient techniques of Neishao's warrior faith. Now, I am going to be the first to say this shit. I am Bosch's #1 hater. This has to be the most bland, milquetoast, I would say diversity higher, but honestly, like, Street Fighter is all about diversity, so it doesn't really matter. But he's just so basic. He's so bland. He does nothing. If you played World Tour when the game came out and you haven't stayed in touch, you might remember he died. He literally just died. And then Ingrid came around and she literally just revived him for no reason other than to be the character in this new season. I have Zero expectations for Bosch. The only hope, or not even a hope, the only prediction, I guess you could say, is that I feel like he's going to be broken as fuck just to get a lot of eyes on him. And also because for some reason Japan loves Bosch, which that is a whole other thing about what Japan likes and doesn't like about Street Fighter compared to the West. That's a whole separate discussion and a whole different video. But getting back to the point, in my opinion, Bosch is easily the weakest character, and that's from somebody who doesn't care about Tifa. Just the weakest appearance-wise, probably not going to be the weakest gameplay-wise. He might have cool gameplay. I feel like he's just going to be like an Indian Shoto, honestly. I have no other expectations on him. Next up, however, is who I feel is probably, like, in the community consensus, the most interesting character we are getting out of this new season pass, Arjun. Or at least I hope that's how you pronounce his name. Uses extraordinary lung capacity combined with yogic breathing to unleash explosive power with his unique bare knuckle yoga techniques. While working as a police officer in India, Arjun was accused of killing a colleague and now lives on the run while he searches for a true culprit. Now, again, like I mentioned before, I wasn't all that hot on Arjun. I didn't hate him as much as Bosch or Yasmin, or didn't care as much as Tifa. But, you know, I was a bit more inclined to the type of design he was. I still think his main outfit is dog shit. Like, you could definitely have done a lot more for his main default outfit to be more, I don't know, inspired, more interesting. I get he's supposed to be on the run, but, you know, there's a difference between doing that thing with a character like Ken, giving him a bland, basic design, because we know what Ken is. Ken is a established character over decades of games, and, you know, giving him a simple design speaks to the nature of his character in the current state. But just giving this bland-ass design to somebody who is supposed to be... You don't know anything about this character, and they are expecting you to pay money to play him. That just seems extremely stupid to me. But moving on from the design, I think the setup for his story is fairly interesting. Him being somebody who was framed for murder, while honestly feels a bit bouncing off of Ken's story, could be interesting. And the idea of yoga but bare knuckle, you know, when the only character we've had so far, I guess main like fighter you could play as is Dhalsim in terms of yoga, getting a different type of, I guess you could say, interpretation of what yoga could be used like in the Street Fighter gameplay will be pretty interesting, and I will definitely keep my eye out for him. Finally, Yasmin. A high schooler hailing from the Philippines joins the fight to search for her long-lost Kuya, which is brother. Despite her shy and gentle demeanor, Yasmin beams with confidence whenever she uses her crescent-shaped karambit knife to dance around her opponents at high speed, just like her Lolo taught her. I think Lolo is grandpa or something in the Philippines. Anyways, Yasmin was a character I hated on fairly heavily when it was first revealed, because like I mentioned before, she looks like a fairly uninteresting OC you would see on Tumblr or a certain part of Twitter. I didn't really like her design, and I still am not the biggest fan of her. That being said, though, I do respect her position in the game because she is supposed to be Filipino representation, and it will give us maybe not a different type of gameplay, because I don't know exactly how deep you can get with somebody just using a knife, but it does give me hope that maybe we will see, you know, a fighting style we've never seen before, which we technically, as far as I know, we've never seen Eskrima, I think it's what it's called, or something like that, in Street Fighter before, which will be interesting to see. I just am not jiving with her story all that much. You know, you can only have a certain amount of quality in certain parts of your character in order for me to care. You know, with Arjun, you have well, not interesting, but you have a funny design and you have a semi-interesting story. Those two things join together to make up for a fairly interesting character. With Yasmin, you have what is, in my opinion, a fairly lackluster design and a fairly basic story, and those two things just don't meld together. I am not excited for Yasmin, and the fact that she's probably going to be the first character we get in this year 4 rollout is not exciting whatsoever to me. I wish we could get like anything else, honestly. Arjun is like the only slight thing I might even have a little bit of hope for in this season. So regarding the title, it does sound like I'm still pretty negative about it, which is the fact. You know, I did say I was too harsh on it. I didn't say I liked it now. I felt like it was the worst thing ever. I honestly even contemplated quitting Street Fighter 6 for like a whole day, but now I'm at a point where I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give them a chance. I am not happy with this decision because, and this is a sentiment I've seen echoed a lot across a lot of the discussion when it comes to this year. A lot of people are not mad about them being new characters, me included. I don't hate new characters. My issue is that it's this. You know, these characters could be so much more. We have Aki in this game. We have Manal. We have Marissa. We have Jamie, for God's sake. Now, to be fair, a lot of these characters are not 100% new. Like, Aki is an offshoot of Fang. Jamie is an offshoot of the twins. But still, you have fresh ideas with these characters. You know, Drunken Fighter with Jamie. Aki being like Aki. Like, Aki, when she was revealed, it was an instant fall in love moment for like almost everybody. And that is not the case for these characters. They are just not that interesting. To me, it honestly feels kind of like they were supposed to be NPCs or mini bosses in World Tour, kind of like Rudra is. And they just got turned into main characters without the proper care and attention they needed. Again, I might be speaking too soon. I might change my tune completely by the time year 4 is over. But I feel like this is not the way Capcom should be going when we are barely getting 4 characters a year. Now, you might have noticed I haven't even mentioned Tifa, like, directly. I have mentioned her a few times. I just don't care, honestly. I'm gonna be transparent with you. I've never played a Final Fantasy game. I know they're good. I don't really plan on playing them, though. I do not care about Tifa whatsoever. I know Max is out there creaming his pants still just about that fact alone, but I do not care. Will her gameplay be good? Yeah, probably. This SF6 has been pretty good at designing characters lately. I just do not care for her as a character, and 80% of the people that say they do care are lying to you. They just want to goon even more than they already did. I am still disappointed, but hopeful. I have a small glimmer of hope. If you, for some reason, wonder who I actually wanted, which I know nobody of you is wondering, I really just, my 2 characters for Street Fighter 6 that would make me totally happy are Dudley and Q. 2 Third Strike characters I feel like should have been given more of a limelight. In Q's case, we're probably not gonna get Q. We might get G, but fucked up. But Dudley, man, Dudley is still to me one of the beacons of swag. He really is just one of the coolest characters. It's honestly one of the main reasons why I even main Jamie in this game is because Jamie has this swag to him and this coolness factor that no other character can replicate except maybe Akuma a little bit. But even then, Akuma's so fucking boring because this game is just Shoto City. I just want those 2 characters, and while I want to reiterate, I do not hate new characters. I feel like we could be doing so much better than this, Capcom. I really hope we get more on these characters soon. I hope these characters are like the best fucking thing created ever. And I really do hope their other outfits are better, because God, these designs are awful. But yeah, that's about all I have to say on these motherfuckers. If you enjoyed this rant and kind of small apology on year 4, then like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Thank you for watching, honestly, because I know it's kind of exhausting to listen to these rants of mine. I appreciate you all a ton. If you disagree with me, if you have any points you want to add, just leave them in the comments. I'll respond. And yeah, I love you all. Have an incredible day and take care.